HR wants to see me immediately.
Okay, Sistas fans, in a very brief moment during the episode 15 trailer for next week, Danni is telling Tony that, hey, so HR wants to talk to you. And it's like, uh-oh, what's going on? And in the trailer, I'm like, wait a minute, maybe it's that white dude. What's his name? Leonard? Maybe he talked to HR about the situation involving Danni and Tony, but maybe it's not just him, or maybe it wasn't him that did it. You have to keep in mind, it's been made very clear this season that a number of NPCs or just background characters, whether it be the customers or other employees, have been taking note not just of the PDA between Tony and Danni at her workstation, but also when they get into arguments, it's causing a bit of a ruckus. So people are going to have questions. So I had to go back, and this is stuff that, remember, season 8 information, I covered this way back in like April of 2024. So I had to do some digging, and I did find some interesting information on a couple of new characters who should be popping up late season 8. For example, I believe it's episode 16 entitled Choose You. We meet Miss Brown, an HR representative at the airport. She's stern and authoritative. And then in episode 20, I believe, we're introduced to Deborah DeWin. And the storyline is Andy becomes the boss lady at her law firm, aka partner. And her first client is none other than Danni. Deborah is a professional woman who's cool and polite, an attorney who represents the airport in a mediation session. So I don't know if Leonard maybe went to HR on Tony and Danni, because he's still, I mean, honestly, and this isn't me siding with the quote unquote Karen in this situation, but I'd feel some kind of way, if I was qualified for a position, or in this case, a spot in the leadership program, but I get overlooked, and a person, regardless of their race or gender, someone who is anything but the model employee, is allowed a spot in the program instead. And then come to find out it wasn't due to, the company being like, you know what, whenever we have a program like this, we ought to make sure there's like 20 spaces for people who are qualified, but then we squeeze in one person who is the opposite of a model employee and put them in a position where they could possibly actually come out of this program. Because I think that's actually pretty interesting when you think about it. When you take a person who is anything but leader material, but you put them in a program, and if they turn out to be a success, that would be one heck of a testimonial. Like, look, Stacy over here was someone who was not manager material. She would show up late to work. She would, get on her phone during work hours. She wouldn't like double check her work to make sure it was correct. But this program was able to instill, leadership or managerial qualities into her, unlock her potential, and now she's one of our star employees. Basically, you don't allow that one person to take the place of someone who does deserve to be in that situation because, they're sleeping with the boss. Let's just be real. But in any case, this could be the reason why HR is involved. But like I said, it might not just be Leonard. It could be other, factors. I'm guessing Leonard, though, because let's be honest here. Given the number of customers and other employees who take note of Tony and Danny's, situations on the job, Leonard's the only one with a speaking voice. So I think it makes sense if he was the one to call out. Not to mention, he made some slick comments to the VP, and the VP low-key threatened, to take away his job. So it's like, you know what? Hey, I want to go over your head. HR. But yeah, I think that's probably what's going on here. And in terms of a lawsuit, I mean, how exactly is Danny getting sued when it's the VP that's making these decisions? I mean, he was the one that bent the rules to get Danny into the program. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see how things, unfold. Given the fact that Danny's being represented by Andy, I wonder how this is going to work considering, well, then again, Andy becomes the boss lady at her law firm. So I guess this means she's partner. I would hate for her to, I would hate it if the story is written that boss lady in terms of, haha, Andy takes Robin's position at the firm, because that makes absolutely zero sense. But we'll just have to wait and see how things unfold. But she's a family divorce lawyer, so I don't see how Danny is her client. But then, hey, suspension of disbelief. We know this is a Tyler Perry show, and if a character is given a specific job title, somewhere down the road they will be given task or patients, or in this case clients, that do not match their roles. So whatever, we'll just, I hope, okay, let me put it this way. If Andy is put into this position of power and she does get to represent Danny, I hope this is a story that's written in a way where Andy's going to have to choose between being professional versus being biased because this is her friend. So it's going to be a battle of her morals in this case. I mean, this could be the ultimate test as her first client in this position of power at the law firm. It's like, so Miss Barnes, we put you in this position. Now it's time for you to make the choice. Will you do things by the book, for the good of the firm, or will you do it for your own personal reasons because this is your friend? So that's what I'm looking at here. But hey, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And folks, this is again why you don't mess around with the higher ups at your job, because it can bite you in the behind and not in the good way. So I'll catch you all in the next video.